to Gentle Yoga. Let's start with a child's pose position. Settle the hips back towards the heels, reach the arms to the front edge of the mat, and just start to take some deep, slow breaths across the back, shoulder to shoulder. Go ahead, take one hand, place it right between the shoulder blades or as high up onto the back as you can. And we're going to release the tricep on that side. You can lean a little bit into it if that feels good for you. And then go ahead, switch sides. Same thing here. Hand comes behind the head or down towards the back between the shoulders. Breathe through the tricep and feel that release into the back of the arm. Both hands out to the front edge of the mat. Let's place them into prayer pose and bring that prayer pose up to the mid shoulders or behind the head. Take a moment here to set your intention for your practice today. Something internal or external which you choose to focus your attention on. With that intention in mind, let's come into our tabletop position. All fours, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, and move through our Marjaryasana and our Bittilasana, our cat to cow poses, arching up into the back, spreading the shoulders, breathing down into the belly, lifting the tailbone. A few rounds up and down, feeling that stretch across the back and then across the front of the body. After this last one, let's hold our tabletop position, extend one leg back behind you, curl the heel towards the hip, and let's circle the knee around, checking in with our hips. Go ahead, trying to increase our range of motion with each circle that we make. Continuing to lift up, back, and down, and now switching direction, up, out, in, and together. One more time. And let's switch sides. Same thing on the other side. Extend the leg, fold the heel in, and slowly lower the knee down, out, in, and down. One more time in this direction. And then let's change, lifting up, out, in, and down. Two more times. Last one. And rest. Both knees onto the mat. Go ahead, lift one hand, place the fingertips by your forehead, and slowly open that elbow up and then twist elbow down towards wrist. Go ahead, stretching across the outer hip and obliques, and then into the back and shoulders. Twice more, lift up. Big rotation into the back. Exhale, thread elbow down towards wrist. One more. Release the hand back down to the mat. Let's do the other side. Fingertips to temple, elbow opens up. Elbow threads down towards the opposite wrist. Inhale up. Exhale, release. Beautiful. Let's do one more all the way up and open. Exhale down. As you come back into your tabletop, let's put that together. Starting out with a knee lift out to the side, lift the knee outward, and then squeeze the knees in together. Lift outward and back down. Good, one more time. And now let's lift the opposite hand, fingertips towards temple. Open the knee, lift the elbow up just a little bit, and then close the knee, lower the elbow down just a little bit. Good, open and release. Really working on core stability and balance. Release the leg all the way out to the side. Extend the arm all the way up to the sky. And then we're going to thread the needle, hand through, reaching towards toes. Go ahead, extend the opposite arm all the way to the front edge of the mat and feel that stretch into the shoulder and inner thigh. One more deep breath. Slowly slide the hand back in to lift yourself up and out of that pose, coming back into tabletop. Let's do the same thing on the other side, starting with that fire hydrant leg lift and release. Leg lift and release. 2 more times. Up and down. Up and down, adding the arm and leg movements. Lift elbow and leg and release. 2 more times. On the last one, let's kick the leg all the way out, reach the arm all the way up to the sky. Exhale through, fingertips reach towards toes, head rests towards the mat. Opposite arm reaches to the front edge. And just breathe into your shoulder, back, and inner thigh. Slowly slide the hand back in. Let's come back into all fours, sliding both legs in as well. Walk the hands 1 step further forward. And let's slowly slide 1 foot forward into our kneeling lizard lunge. This is a great hip opener, and we can accentuate that by bringing 1 elbow to the floor and kind of pushing the knee away, or maybe even bringing both elbows to the floor. Allow the back hip flexor to fold its way down to the mat. Breathe across that inner thigh and hip. Slowly come out as you do into your kneeling split or kneeling pyramid pose. Maybe lifting the toes up as you hinge the hips back towards your back edge of the mat. Lengthen along the back of the knee. Try to lift the tailbone up just a little bit and feel that stretch from heel to hip. Let's do that same sequence on the other side. Slide the other leg forward. Slowly come down to your elbow maybe, and then push the opposite hand into the inner thigh. Maybe both elbows come down to the mat if your flexibility allows. You can also do the same stretch from onto your hands. Listen to your body with each pose. What we're doing is we're trying to find our edge. As we release, coming back into our kneeling split. Again, heel to hip, feeling length and extension along the back of the leg. Slowly fold both legs back. Let's take another step forward with the hands. Exhale all the way down into the mat, coming into your Sphinx pose. Pull your chest between your shoulders. Lift the abdomen up away from the waistband. Allow the hips to fold down towards the mat. Now let's take one hand to the opposite elbow. Reach back towards your heel, fold it towards hip. And you can either go into a half bow or maybe a grasshopper. Good, so hand towards top of foot. We either pull or push that foot to the floor. Trying the same on the other side, hand to elbow. Same hand to same foot. Good, pulling the heel in towards the hip to your level of, I used to say comfort, but now I'm starting to think maybe this is level of discomfort, your edge, the point where you feel the release without inflicting pain or strain onto yourself. Good, let's let that go. And let's bring both feet in. Hands towards heels. Lift up into your bow pose. Good, elevating the chest as high as you feel comfortable going. Or maybe coming into that grasshopper, both heels towards hips. Breathe across the chest and shoulders. And then into the front of the thighs. As we let that one go, let's shake out the hips a little bit. Let some of that tightness and tension go from the lower back. Hands under shoulders. Let's lift ourselves up. Sit back onto our heels. And if this is uncomfortable for you, you are welcome to do this sequence from kneeling instead of from sitting back onto your heels. From Hero's Pose, you're going to take one hand back behind you. Opposite hand lifts up to the sky. And just feel that stretch across the chest, maybe lifting the hips up from the heels accentuating that stretch all the way from fingertips to the front of the hip. This is our kneeling wild thing pose. Exhale, take a seat. Let's do the other side. Before we do, adding a shoulder stretch from kneeling or from seated. Good. Exhale, take a seat. Other hand comes back behind you, reaching all the way to the sky, and then maybe lifting the hips up as well. Reaching up and over into your kneeling wild thing pose. So you really feel the strength in the bottom arm, the length into the top arm, stretching into your hips, your abs. And let's do our shoulder stretch on this side now. Lengthening from the medial to the rear deltoid, pulling the arm across, grabbing above or below the elbow from seated or from kneeling. All right, now let's come into camel. Hands can come into the lower back, head lifts up, shoulders roll back. Maybe we reach our hands to our heels. God, letting the head fall back, lengthening through the abdomen, squeezing the glutes to protect the low back. And then slowly coming into our staff pose. Extend the legs all the way out to the front. Reach fingertips all the way to the sky and then fold, reaching your hands all the way out to your toes. Your hands can rest on your thighs, your shins, or maybe even the bottom of the feet. Relax the shoulders. Relax the head and neck. Let's slowly make our way all the way down to the mat. One hand to belly, one hand to lower ribs. Take a moment here to breathe. Follow the rhythm of each breath. The rise of the chest and abdomen. The softening of chest and abdomen. Check in with any tightness or tension. And let's go into a side stretch. Walk the heels towards the hips, drop the knees one side, reach the arms opposite, lengthening across the outer obliques. Let's do the same thing for the other side. Knees fall one direction, arms fall opposite, lengthening knee from hip, hip to shoulder. Back into center. Bring the knees all the way over to where the arms are. Come up into seated. You can rest in easy pose or whatever feels good for you. You're going to take one hand to your forehead, one hand to your heart. This pose helps stimulate the vagus nerve and brings comfort and calming sensations to the mind and body. Just breathe here. Letting go, bring both hands to the heart, circle through the neck, chin to chest, ear to shoulder, and all the way back around. Good, a few more circles, and let's bring it around the other direction, chin to chest, ear to shoulder, head to back, ear to shoulder. Back in through center. Reach both arms up to the sky. Exhale, one wrist at a time, lengthening from shoulder to hip, from shoulder to wrist. Now let's reach both those arms around to the front, stretch into the back, maybe adding some movement, a sway side to side. Now open both arms up, elbow to elbow, shoulder to shoulder, stretch across the chest, and then bring everything in for a well-deserved hug. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for your practice, and hope you have a wonderful day.